errors apparently. Let's get this.
I've done it. I've done it.
Hello, welcome one and all to another daily video with me, EB. That's Earth's Best Entertainment. Thank you all for tuning in. Hello. Please, if you haven't already, get on over to my website. That is www.earthsbestentertainment.com. It is scrolling across your screen. And today we have a looks like we might be doing another solo. Looks like Keith may have had to cancel. Not sure. I hope he's okay. Hope everything's okay, Keith. And if you're still out there, hey, you could still come on. I'll still try to pop you in while I'm driving. Please, out there, if you haven't already, get on over to earthsbestkickstarter.com. That is my Kickstarter for Earth's Best Friends book number 4. Book number 4 will be 5 new stories added to Earth's Best Friends, including Tween Titans number 1, which is actually for sale right now as a floppy. But if you want to hold off and buy an entire trade paperback book, 48 pages for $10 instead of the 11-page story, then hold off until April 17th. earthsbestkickstarter.com. That is my crowdfunding campaign, which I will be jumping ship over to Fund My Comic, which is not a sponsor of this show in any way, shape, or form. I just love Luke Stone and what he's doing for Fund My Comic, which is a crowdfunding platform that he has created with some other guys, that he is trying to do for us, the indie developers out there, specifically for comics. So check him out as well, fundmycomic.com. Hello, one and all. What is up, guys? How are you? I'm super. Thanks for asking. So tonight's probably going to be a shorter show because I'm flying solo. Shorter show, flying solo. So I guess last time I flew solo, I talked a lot about my crowdfunding campaign, which I suppose I could talk about again. I mean, I'm gonna probably end up talking about it till I'm blue in the face over the next month or so. So I will talk about that, but I also do want to talk about Keith Gleason, who was going to be the guest today. I want to talk about Mighty Mascots because his comic Mighty Mascots is really cool. I can't wait to see that in print and get the lunchbox. If you go to his Indiegogo right now in demand, you could buy a lunchbox from him. It looks so cool. It is a 1960s style full metal lunchbox. Really cool. Really cool collector's item. I totally had to grab one. And I can't wait to see it this summer. So go on over to Indiegogo.com and search in Mighty Mascots to see Keith's project. So guys, what is up? And last night we had a pretty good show as well. We had Dark Gift Comics on, as well as Iron Liz, and it surprised me right out the gate that Iron Liz was there. And she worked with Channel Awesome, which is a YouTube channel, YouTube group of channels that originally they all kind of worked together based off the Nostalgia Critic's success. He kind of carried a lot of these other creators to slight variations of his success, some being just as popular as him and others being pretty much no names that got some exposure in the anniversary collections and stuff. But there was quite a disaster eventually, and it was not run very well. There were a lot of problems and stuff, and so I can't wait to have Iron Liz on again, and we could talk about her experience, her personal experiences with Channel Awesome, because that whole thing is just so interesting to me. The concept of YouTubers working together like that is just pretty much like the dream, right? I mean, me and my friends wanted to do something like that back in 2010. We just never really got around to it. None of us really, besides me, had the drive to really have a YouTube channel and make videos regularly. There's a lot going on as well. So, but it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool time to be a YouTube watcher, because I like to say it was kind of like the silver age of YouTube. You know, the late 2000s, the early 2010s. You know, pretty much before 2014, I want to say. Or actually, I want to say before 2013, because basically To Boldly Flee kind of changed it all. And when Nostalgia Critic quit, that was when that silver age was pretty much over. So I won't talk more about that, because I want to talk about that with Iron Liz a lot more. But yeah, man, it was really cool to have those guys on. I can't wait to have them back. I'm gonna have to reschedule with Keith. I don't know what happened with him. I hope he's okay. Like I said, wish him the best, whatever's going on. You know, hey, you know, folks forget, or they get busy, or they can't communicate, whatever the case may be. So I just hope he's okay, and we will reschedule with him for sure. So flying solo is fine. You know, it's something that I started doing this podcast with anyway. You know, the idea of getting a guest every night was something I came up with, and it's been a really good run so far. So I thank you for your support, everybody out there who's been watching and tuning in. Thank you, Pops, for adding me to your Madness network. I've met a lot more cooler people as well now. And it's certainly going to help me get more guests as well and stuff like that. And as well as more eyes on the podcast, on my YouTube channel, and hopefully on my comic as well. Earth's Best Friends. So maybe I should talk about the little history of Earth's Best Friends, especially because I have a special guest coming in 2 weeks, Olivia Arrington. She's one of the first artist friends I ever had on the internet since I started with comics. And me and her became pretty good friends 2017, 2018. And we did a little project together called Siamese Ninja Heroes. You know, and I actually owe a fair amount of credit to her for some of the aspects that became Earth's Best Friends. So me and her were, as you all know, Siamese Ninja Heroes is what eventually became Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes. And she was actually the reason what introduced the idea to me of putting some biblical references in the comic, and now I have been doing that from time to time. I don't do it super often. I don't want to be too preachy. People don't like that. I'm against preaching to the audience, but when I can find a moment where it's pretty natural, and like Charlie Evie said on my on the review of Earth's Best Friends Volume 1, I integrated it naturally when Sky prays to God using the psalm. So, that's what I like to do. I like to integrate it naturally, so it's not just preaching something to the audience. I want the book to appeal to secular and Christian eyes both. But she introduced that element to the comic that I kept from our original project, Siamese Ninja Heroes. We also had a lot of scripts written for that project, as well as an additional project or two additional projects. I had Super Steak in the running as well, which Super Steak has been introduced as a cameo thus far in the chapter known as Dark Sky. That's Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes number 5. If you were able to get the Love Bundle, Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes number 5 was included with the Love Bundle, which I did retire. So now you're going to have to wait until Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes number 5 comes out naturally. Or when my crowdfunding campaign launches, you can get that from the catch-up tier as well. But the Dark Sky introduces Super Steak, and then we don't really see him because he stays in the middle school. So Earth's Best Friends thus far, with Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes, the Animal Teens, and Tween Titans, they're all taking place in Neon City, which is my version of New York City. I call it Neon City so that way I could take some I don't have to get the geography quite right of New York City. It's an alternate universe, an alternate Earth. So it's been the city's been changed heavily since Miracore took over the world, and they use it as their headquarters. Basically, the capital of the world is now in Neon City instead of Washington, D.C. But besides a slight view of other parts of the world through family problems, the short story called Family Problems, you really only see Neon City for now. So they all take, and there's 3 schools that are noticed in Earth's Best Friends. All right, we have S. Lee Elementary School, we have the J. Kirby Middle School, and then we have S. Ditko High. All right, those are the 3 schools that are notable in the franchise. All right. So because of that, right, Super Steak is a superhero that pretty much only defends J. Kirby Middle School. He doesn't fight crime unless the crime comes to the school. And that's what we see in the Dark Sky. All right, the story of the Dark Sky is Seely has had enough. He gives into his dark side, his anger, and he transforms into the Dark Sky. And decides to go torment the J. Kirby Middle School. But little did he know that there was a defender, a guardian of J. Kirby Middle School, and Super Steak basically takes him out with one punch. All right, and I illustrate the power of the Dark Sky first by showing how much more powerful he is than his siblings when he hits them and they detransform. So then you see Super Steak punch him once, and he concedes. He's like, all right, I get it. Ah, man, your fists are made out of 10 tons of steel, man. And then Super Steak's like, sorry, I thought you could take it. It's like, God, I guess not. Jeez. You know, and then Super Steak talks him down to not be the dark sky anymore. And you know, the story ends with an apology to his siblings. And of course his siblings forgive him because forgiveness and grace is key to life. You know, that's what Jesus teaches us. And I don't mention Jesus by name, but I just I talk about the moral of forgiveness a little bit. But in the context of the story, it works. You know, I'm not preaching randomness here. And, you know, there's no Bible verses. Well, actually, I do quote a Bible verse. Super Steak quotes a Bible verse. And the mystery of all these characters, Super Steak and the Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes, there's a mystery about their powers that is slightly divine. And I'm not going to give too much away about that because I want you to read the story and uncover the mystery as the story unfolds, the story unfolds it, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting, right? And but Super Steak only defends the J. Kirby Middle School. He doesn't go out, and that's because he's super powerful, right? When you have characters that are like Superman or Captain Marvel or just these super overpowered characters, you have to do something with them that explains why they don't just come in and destroy all enemies all the time, right? You know, for the MCU, Captain Marvel is pretty much across the universe, right? Defending other planets while everything's happening on Earth, right? That's what she said. She's like, well, not every planet is lucky enough to have the Avengers, right? So she's kind of been the Avengers for a lot of different planets and stuff. And with Superman, there's a lot of things that they do where it's like a lot of times it comes down to brute force isn't going to work because a loved one's at stake or something like that, right? Use your brain, not your brawn kind of thing. Well, with Super Steak, I keep him contained. I do show off his powers later on, and I do bring him out to play a little bit as larger events unfold. And Super Steak is pretty much my self-insert. I mean, he's basically me. And, you know, I created him when I was 13 years old. And he's also a parody of the trope of the hidden identity, right? Superman takes off his glasses and he's Superman, but he puts his glasses back on and he's Clark Kent, right? And people don't make that correlation, right? People don't say, wait a minute, Superman looks kind of like Clark Kent without glasses, right? Because his face doesn't change. So I take it one step further with Super Steak, and all he does is spike up his hair and wear a towel around his neck, right? And I even make his regular name Steak, right? So people talk to him and say, hey, Steak, what's going on? Hey, man. But then it's like, hey, look, it's Super Steak. Wow, this superhero that we don't know who he is, even though all he is steak with his hair spiked up. So, so it plays on that trope, right? The hidden identity that's not very hidden at all. And people have no idea that Steak is Super Steak, even though his name is literally in the superhero name, right? I like to do things like that. I did that with the Tween Titans as well, as I've said a few times on streams and stuff. Sparkle Girl and Ashley. Zoe and Phoenix, respectively, right? So Zoe turns into Sparkle Girl. Phoenix turns into Ashley, right? And I thought the funny idea would be, well, she already has such an awesome name as a regular civilian. So what if we just named her something so generic and common when she's a superhero? So she's Ashley. Phoenix transforms into Ashley. You know? I mean, I think it's funny. A lot of other folks think it's funny too. People tend to laugh when I tell them about that. So, and you get to see all these characters in book 4 or in volume 1 if you decide to do the catch-up tier. There's a couple different catch-up tiers. I'm going to be offering a couple different ways that you can consume Earth's Best Friends. All right. Since now that I've got the individual floppies going, I'm going to offer you all 10 floppies. All 9 chapters from volume 1 will be individual floppies, 9 floppies plus the story of family problems. Now, in volume 1, I only had family problems part 1 and 2. In book 4, you're going to get family problems 1 through 4. All right. And as the 10th floppy, you're going to get family problems 1 through 4. All right. So the new addition to book 4 is family problems part 3 and 4, but I'm just including the first 2 parts as well, just for consistency's sake. And family problems takes place at a different point in time than a lot of the events of Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes and Animal Teens and stuff. So let's talk about Animal Teens. Let's go back to Olivia for a second. So Olivia Arrington is coming on my show in a couple weeks, and she was my partner on Siamese Ninja Heroes. Now, I wrote scripts for Siamese Ninja Heroes. I wrote scripts for Super Steak. I also wrote scripts for something called Animal Age, which became Animal Teens. Now, originally, I wrote these scripts for characters that she had created, and the script was a lot different for her than what they eventually became, but a lot of the skeleton of what became Animal Teens was there. I created all new characters, so I didn't use her characters. You know, when we stopped doing the project, I asked her, hey, would it be cool if I took the scripts I wrote for you and apply them to my own characters, to make original characters? And she said, yeah, that's fine. And, we had a contract that basically said I owned all the writing and she owned all the art. So I had to redesign the Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes. I had to redesign the Animal Teens, or it became the Animal Teens. And she never had like a design for Super Steak for me at the time. So I ended up designing that as well. The other thing with Animal Teens is the both the homage to Animorphs and X-Men, right? Animorphs was this 90s book series, and it was a TV show for a while as well. For those of you who are young and never heard of that stuff. And X-Men is X-Men. Everyone knows X-Men. At least I think so. So the cover I have Gabriel Nissi doing for me actually is an homage to Animorphs. But even Animal Teens, I owe a good amount of credit to Olivia, because the script I had originally written became Animal Teens, and the first episode of Animal Teens I actually pay homage to what her series was going to be called. So Animal Teens #1 is called Animal Age. And every episode of Animal Teens has some kind of animal, has either the word animal in it or an animal in the title. So Animal Teens #1 is Animal Age. Animal Teens #2 is Animal Torment. Animal Teens #3 is Going Ape, right? Sticking to that motif. And so on and so forth when I have, more Animal Teens coming down the pipeline. And so I owe her a good amount of credit to Earth's Best Friends. Me and her worked on this project before it was Earth's Best Friends. So I'm very excited to get her on the show and see what she's been up to. And I'll have to show off some of her work as well. Definitely when I make a title card for the show, I will definitely be doing that. And she's a great artist. She has this Disney style about her, and her colors are really vibrant and exciting. They're very bright. They're just like a Disney kind of style. And so I do love that about it. So yeah, I'm really excited to have her on. I'm really excited for a lot of guests coming in the coming weeks, and some other notable people coming on will be Chad Perkins. I'm going to have RJ back. I'm going to have Dojo Kun back. I'm going to try to get Luke Stone back. I'm going to obviously try to get Iron Liz and Dark Griff Comics back. There's going to be a plethora of people coming on and off, and I've got Mark Zomer coming on. He's not a comic book creator, but he does have things going on that are really good. He's an evangelicalist, so he likes to go to the subway and preach and stuff, which is really cool. I can't wait to talk to him on the show here as well. So there's just a lot of cool stuff coming around in the pipeline and stuff. So I think I will end the feed here because I am at work now. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching now on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much. If you're watching after the fact, thank you so much as well. And if you're tuning in at 8 a.m. on the Madness Network and all those other channels, thank you so much, guys. This has been a great time chatting with you, and I will catch you guys later. I love you, and God bless.